Oil prices up on this, not that much, I guess, in retrospect, given the size of the tension, so to speak. Do you think we move up from here? Or are you surprised at all at the somewhat muted response in the commodity?
You know, David, I don't believe we've had a meaningful response to what's happened in Iran. I think, prior to any of this occurring, we were seeing a tightening of oil supplies, due to basically producers here in the U.S. using capital discipline and methods and slowing down and exploration. We're in a new era of oil. We have the capacity to overproduce. The key to it is making sure we don't. We need to balance supply and demand, and otherwise it's not sustainable for oil companies here in the U.S. or anywhere in the world. So I think that was happening prior to this situation in Iran. I think it was bound to happen over there. They got by with a couple of events, shooting down a drone, disrupting the supply coming out of Saudi Arabia. So, they couldn't help themselves. They had to try something else. They thought they'd get by with it, and this time they couldn't.
Right. But what are you going to be looking for in terms of something that would meaningfully change the trajectory of oil prices as these tensions continue to escalate?
I think what happens here is you can tended to see a tightening of oil supplies. Producers are listening to the market. They're not going to overproduce and oversupply the market in the future. We've been in an era of abundance for 5 years. And there for a while, the scarcity mentality was what was here in the oil patch, but that's waned, and everybody realized we can overproduce. We're not going to, and certainly we're going to ask what the market wants. We're going to provide that, but we're not going to oversupply the market in the future. So I think you'll see that tightening of supplies as we go forward, regardless of what happens. I'm not terribly worried about what's going on right now in Iran. Our president's going to do the right thing. We have a very, very good Secretary of State. Mr. Pompeo has great relationships in the Middle East, and he's certainly capable of handling that situation.
Harold, what do you think this does to the export picture, specifically demand globally for U.S. products? And not just because of the events of the last couple of days, but really the last year or so with tanker seizures and some of the other issues that have been playing out due to Iran in the Middle East. I can't help but think that has added a level of risk, uncertainty, perhaps even driven up costs to move some of the products from that region of the world. Does it actually fuel demand for what the U.S. has to offer?
Well, certainly it does. Everybody realizes how unstable and how volatile that region is. I mean, here, again, you see a situation that has blown up, and there should be some risk premium. The market is hesitant to build that in, but I think we're probably headed for a $75 oil price here in the U.S. regardless within the next 6 months. So that's where the market's going, and we'll get there. It's not too much to ask. I mean, with where this economy is, how strong it is, we're in an economy that's almost doubled since Trump has been in office. Certainly, you're saying it can sustain that.
Harold, you're saying you expect WTI crude to be at 75 within 6 months? I mean, that would be a huge move, would it not?
It's not a huge move, $7, $8 right now. I can tell you for sure that OPEC, has said over and over again they want 80. I don't know why they couldn't obtain that.
So, Harold, I want to get your thoughts on the fact that the rig count here in the U.S. has come down by, a quarter in the past year, what that has actually meant in terms of the local economies in places like the Bakken and the Permian, and what that actually looks like on the ground right now for Continental Resources and the sector at large.
Well, we saw rig count come down by another 8 this last week. It's been dropping about 4 rigs a week. It may get down as low as 750 We felt like it would come below 800. It did. It's 773 right now. So it may get to 750 yet. But you know, that's what you live on today is oil. Natural gas is so cheap, it's given no help at all.